Archaeologist Luke rides his scooter, ignoring repeated calls from someone named Chasm. Suddenly, a group of vehicles surrounds him, and Chasm demands the return of a tube containing a painting Luke stole from his employer. One of Chasm's men is armed, prompting Luke to pretend he's stopping, only to suddenly veer off and take a new route. A chase ensues. Luke races ahead, causing his pursuers to crash into other traffic, then swerves into a market inaccessible to cars. Only one motorcyclist keeps up. Luke heads into a cramped apartment building, where the narrowness causes the rider to crash. He rushes down the stairs, skipping steps, and exits the building, only to be struck off his scooter by Chasm's vehicle. Locals quickly crowd the car, buying Luke time to crawl away, but Chasm fires into the air to clear them, then sends his men after Luke on foot. Despite a leg injury, Luke escapes under gunfire and calls his team to say he'll miss his flight. They advise him to take the train instead. He darts through another market, steals a vendor's cart, and Chasm follows by car. Luke unhooks the cart, sending it crashing into Chasm's vehicle, which bursts into flames and shatters the windshield. Chasm crashes into traffic and is blocked by police as Luke reaches the station. He ditches his scooter, sprints after the departing train, and leaps aboard at the last moment. That night, he dozes off in his seat and dreams of being inside an old structure, where he discovers and steals a golden mask. When he wakes up, a woman named Esme is sitting across from him. She introduces herself as someone who retrieves rare artworks, pointing out that the nearby men work for her. Luke refuses to hand over the painting in the tube. Esme draws a knife, and one of her goons begins choking Luke from behind. As Esme kicks at the tube, Luke resists. She kicks again, but he grabs her arm. She slips out of her jacket and walks off. Luke smashes a plate on the thug's head, then headbutts him until he's free. He tackles another henchman, but Esme attacks again before storming off. A third attacker confronts Luke, but he gets past him and catches up to Esme. As they struggle, she slashes the tube's strap by accident. While both hold on, Luke avoids her thrown knife and yanks the tube free, causing her to fall into a restroom. He locks the door behind her. Luke climbs onto the roof of the train, spots an approaching water tower, and tries to leap onto it, but misses, crashing through the roof of a small cabin below. He calls his team for a pickup. Meanwhile in London, Luke's sister Charlotte is in divorce court with her unfaithful ex-husband Harold and his lawyer. Harold demands full custody of their son, infuriating Charlotte. Later, at her museum job, she's shocked to see Luke show up. He says he came to visit, but she suspects trouble. Luke proposes she join his quest like they did with their father, but Charlotte says she's a parent now and needs to keep her job. Luke then says one painting is damaged. As Charlotte examines it, he lifts another painting from the wall. Alarms blare, and the doors begin to seal. Charlotte chases him, demanding it back. Luke says she can have it if she gets in his car. He speeds off, maneuvering through traffic to evade police, then hides in a truck with his teammates Murphy and Deb. Charlotte recognizes them from their father's old crew. Murphy checks the stolen painting and notes. It's the wrong one. Luke tells Charlotte she can return it later using a special spray. Later, she wakes up alone on a park bench and realizes they've ditched her. She rushes back to the museum, where Inspector Yamal is already investigating. He suspects Charlotte is aiding Luke, but they discover the stolen painting has already been returned. After work, Charlotte tries to pick up her son, but Harold refuses, having heard about the investigation. Furious, Charlotte tracks down Luke and finds him with a wealthy man named Owen. Owen reveals he's terminally ill with cancer and has hired Luke's team to locate the Fountain of Youth, which might be his only hope. Charlotte dismisses it as a legend. Luke insists legends hold truth, explaining that 6 artists in the 1600s made a pact to hide clues in 6 paintings, each marked with Latin for 6 and 1. Though the team hasn't solved the extra letters, Charlotte realizes they stole the wrong Rembrandt. She agrees to help, on the condition Owen's lawyers support her custody case. She directs the team to research the Vanderville family. Later, aboard a ship in Ireland, the team searches a sunken cruise ship where the missing painting was last seen. Using drones, they cut out a section of the first-class cabin and attach flotation tanks to lift it. Once the wreck surfaces, the Vanderville twins go in under Charlotte's lead. Suddenly, a helicopter drops Esme and armed men onto the wreckage. Inside, Charlotte finds liquor and drinks, while Luke uses a torch to open a locker marked Vanderville and retrieves the painting. The twins celebrate, but when Luke tries to snatch some jewelry, Charlotte slaps him, reminding him they're not treasure hunters. The flotation tanks begin failing. As the group attempts to escape, Esme's men close in and gunfire erupts. Bullets ricochet, even damaging the helicopter, which flies off as the ship starts sinking again. Charlotte pushes Esme into the sea. Luke's leg gets tangled in a net underwater, and Charlotte dives in to rescue him. She cuts him free, and they both swim to safety, where the team picks them up by boat. Back in London, Harold informs Charlotte he's moving to Japan and insists she stay with Thomas. She realizes Owen arranged this to help her keep custody. Charlotte returns to the team to reassess the stolen painting. From its details, they spell out wicked. Combined with 6 and 1, they deduce it refers to the 1631 Wicked Bible, famous for its error saying, "Thou shalt commit adultery." Nearly all copies were lost. Only one remained. Before anyone can react, Inspector Yamal bursts in to apprehend the twins. But Chasm and his crew storm in, weapons drawn. Luke offers himself and all the paintings in return for his team's release. Chasm agrees. As they prepare to leave, Luke distracts Chasm by playing music, ducks under a table, and allows the police to overpower the criminals. A shootout follows. Luke escapes to his waiting boat, leaving Chasm's gang behind to be arrested. Later, Luke stands alone in a desert, holding a glowing vial. He drinks from it. Instantly, Charlotte and Thomas begin to age rapidly. A voice warns, "Do not drink." Luke drops the vial. It shatters. He wakes up on a plane with the team en route to Austria, where the final Bible is located. Thomas has now joined the journey. At the Austrian National Library, Luke, Charlotte, and Dip gain entry thanks to Owen's generous donation. Meanwhile, Owen and Thomas enjoy a nearby meal. Inside a private room, a librarian reveals a second obscene image hidden in the Bible. Outside, Murphy spots Esme and her soldiers arriving. Luke confronts Esme. They fight among bookshelves and furniture. She tries to strangle him with a rope, but he pushes her, and she ends up dangling from a ceiling lamp. Meanwhile, Murphy reports all exits are blocked. The team initiates Plan B. They sedate the librarian, steal the Bible, and Deb plants a small explosive to access the sewers. Esme's men attempt to kidnap Owen, but he defeats them and protects Thomas. That night, back at the hotel, the team analyzes the Bible but struggles to understand the golden digits 1 through 7. Concerned for Thomas's safety, Charlotte departs. Thomas realizes the digits correspond to musical notes. He plays a melody that evokes desert water, an ancient tune honoring the 7 wonders. Using the wonders and the paintings as a map, they deduce the fountain lies beneath the Giza pyramids. Outside Cairo, Esme is handed a special key by the Protectorate leader to prevent unworthy people from drinking the water. At Giza, Luke shows Thomas advanced scans that reveal secret chambers beneath the pyramids. Charlotte notices Owen's security unloading numerous bags and objects. She protests the potential damage to the historic site. Owen ignores her and orders digging, brushing off objections from a renowned Egyptologist. Inspector Yamal arrives with local police, is turned away, then returns with backup. A fierce gun battle breaks out. The team discovers a hidden tunnel that leads to a chamber containing a colossal stone structure. Owen insists on blasting through, but the twins and Charlotte object. Thomas finds an old musical instrument, plays it, and activates pipes that cause the structure to shift slightly. Charlotte then strikes a gong. The sand forms arches of support. Using raw strength, she moves the stone slab, uncovering an elevator shaft. The team descends. Below, they pass through passageways etched with contradictory warnings until reaching a room with a life tree carving. Charlotte inserts an amber figurine of the goddess Nenette into the carving. A hidden wall opens, leading to a grand hall filled with luminous water, the real fountain of youth. The inscriptions warn, those unprepared for the blessing will instead be cursed. Owen, impatient, forces Luke to drink. As Luke's blood drips into the water, his hands start glowing. He sees a younger version of himself, along with aging visions of Charlotte and Thomas. He decides not to drink. The water heals his wound. Owen drinks next, and instantly begins to age in unbearable pain. Esme hits another gong, sealing the chamber shut. The team races through collapsing tunnels and traps to escape. Outside, Inspector Yamal finally concedes Owen was the real villain. Esme, impressed by Luke's sacrifice, kisses him on the cheek before leaving. Luke, Charlotte, the twins, and Thomas emerge safely into daylight. The brothers pledge to find a new adventure. Thomas smiles and says he already knows where to begin.